Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol unboxing for the channel, and this comes courtesy of some store credit I had with my channel sponsor, so thank you very much for that. It made me being able to pick these up possible, and the numbers for these releases are all over the place, and I'm actually going to do them in the wrong order for a change just because there's only 2 miniatures in CP158 as opposed to CP91, which is actually the newest releases, which is a bunch of new Asgardians. So yeah, we're going to go over the new version of Black Panther, chosen of Based, not sure, and Neymar the Submariner. But the biggest thing to cover here is obviously the new Asgardians, 4 of them in a box, 2 of which are new leaders. But we'll handle the smaller box first and just take a look at what we get. I'm falling behind on my Crisis Protocol a little bit, and I'm definitely going to be picking up Apocalypse when he is out because I love his design. So I'm going to have to get to painting, but for now anyway, let's focus on an unboxing, and I have some stories to tell about my friend who's already assembled these. So here we have CP158. There's the back of the box with the lore for T'Challa and Neymar if you want it, and Neymar is actually the first model for Crisis Protocol to have a new unique style of rule which counteracts a rule that many other models have. At least I think he's the very first instance of it. Could be wrong, and there might be like tactics cards that did it I'm just blanking on, but he is certainly the first to have it on his card, I'm fairly sure. We'll cover when we get to the German language had to go up there because of space, and we're obviously going to have a bunch of extra cards because we're going to have a bunch of extra European languages, and a waste of absolute paper in here. And once again, you have to find your assembly instructions online because that's just the way they do it now. And then they just waste paper by putting the credits in. So let's take a look at the sprue. Oh. Struggling a little bit, hang on. What is getting stuck? Ah, there we go. There's that little bit there. They're actually stuck together, which is nice because that means they hold better when they're traveling. So let's just take that apart. So over here we have Neymar, or rather his sprue, and honestly, yeah, that's just a base. Oh, yeah, that is just a base. He has a full scenic base, and so does T'Challa actually. So they don't come with any of the generic Crisis Protocol ones. That's neat. Okay, I'm kind of glad, because I'm sick of having the same 4 pavements for every single release except like Thanos and Dormammu. So yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. So that's another reason he stands out then. So there's his various bits and bobs. Trident, water splash that he's standing on, that seems like an easy assembly to me. T'Challa, that is just quite a funny piece to have by itself. It looks like Ron Perlman, but he is also with a base. Nice big slot there so you know what you're doing. He's got a panther beside him, yeah, so that's what that is. He's not standing on it, and that's the that's probably the flower that gives him his power, right? I've forgotten the name of it offhand, but yeah, seems simple enough for there as well for the assembly options. So I'm gonna have to get all these cards out, and I'm gonna have to get rid of all the non-English language, so give me 1 second. And so with that sorted, we have 5 tactics cards and 2 stat cards. Let's start with Prince's Protection. I'm going to have to zoom this in a little bit and can hopefully give the camera a second to focus. There we go. Neymar punching an airplane in the World War, I believe. When an enemy, or World War II rather, when an enemy character within 3 of Neymar targets an allied character with an attack, you can spend 2 to play this. Place him within 1 and he becomes the target. It's a Heroes for Hire, but for Neymar, because he do be like that. Then we have the Invaders, which is actually an affiliation, which is the World War II era team of like Bucky, Captain America, the first Human Torch, etc. And it wasn't our World War Iron Fist as well, or era, you know what I mean. So this is a shield reactive. After deployment, an allied Neymar Submariner, that's quite hard to say, or Steve Rogers Captain America may play this card, and then they gain this leadership. So it counts as shield, but it's the Invaders. An allied character may reroll 1 defense die. Additionally, they can modify and reroll skulls when they're within 2 of another allied character. Okay, not quite as good as I was thinking. If they stick together, that's pretty good. It's just a reroll. That's fine, a defensive affiliation bonus. Stealth and Cunning. Is that Dracula they're fighting? Who is that? Either way, T'Challa and M'Baku. When an enemy character picks up an objective token, Black Panther and M'Baku can spend 3 to play this card. M'Baku throws himself small or short towards the enemy, and if you collide it does not suffer damage. Then if the enemy character suffered damage, Black Panther may advance his speed towards M'Baku. Alright, so it's a team up attack. Fair enough. I don't know if that's worth a slot, to be honest, but especially because this is a 3-threat Black Panther. King's Command with the Dollar Malage. I will say I don't think that one's drawn particularly well, but that's just me. It's an active for Wakanda. During this activation, an allied character with an active Wakanda leadership may spend 4 to play this card. This round, once per turn, when an allied Wakanda character makes an attack, after the attack is resolved, it gains 1 power. Sure, that's fine. And then Wisdom of the Ancestors, which is the last card, yep. T'Challa or Shuri may play 3 to play this card. This round, when the character that played this card attacks, defends, or dodges, it counts skulls as successes. That's pretty cool. I wonder if we're going to get a Black Panther version for Shuri, and that's why it just says her name. Could be. And then let's go over Neymar's card first, because he's more important out of the two, I think, because he's very powerful. He moves long, he is 5 threat, he's 4/4/3 defense, 7 health, size 2 obviously. 6 dice, basic physical attack, range 2, and you can advance towards the target small before damage is dealt. That's important. And then this is an interesting one. For 3 power, 7 dice physical, but for a spender you get to pick what kind of sea creature is helping him, either crabs, octopus, or octopi, whatever, and turtles. And depending on which one you pick, you can either make it drop objectives. If you use crabs, enemy character within 2 suffers 1, so that's AoE damage with the octopus. Or the turtles, interact with any number you can automatically pick up, and then advance away small, so that's a smash and grab basically. For 3 you can get his, what's it called, Giganto? Or is it actually called Imperious Rex? I keep forgetting. I'm not that familiar with Neymar, to be honest. This character immediately makes a move action followed by a trident attack. If this attack it deals at least 1 damage, the target gains a stagger condition. That's basically his ult from Marvel Rivals, which I've been playing a lot of, by the way. The closed beta is closed now, I'm going to miss it. During the power phase it gets 1 additional power, and then this is the important part. Damage caused by this character's attacks and effects, so that includes this, and like the octopus, cannot be reduced or prevented by superpowers or team tactics cards. That means like cards that heal you or reduce damage, Thanos' ability or any of the Black Order, any Iron Man, anyone who has a rule that's like reduced damage by 1 to a minimum of 1 or otherwise. He just ignores that, and that is really, really powerful. He's also apparently charismatic. You could fool me, but this character and allied characters within 2 can reroll 1 die in attack and defense rolls. That would stack with the affiliation bonus, if you gave it to him, presumably. He can fly because of his shoes, and he is allowed to hold the Time Stone, which is weird. On the alternative side, I don't think he changes at all. Yep, same health. Yep. Just an all-round, really, really solid 5-threat character. Conversely, there isn't that much to say about this version of Black Panther. He's only a 3-threat, so there's only so much he can do. I will say 2 things though. If you're looking to put some mystic damage into your list, he is a cheap way to do it because that's all he attacks, and the art is also really cool. It looks like there's an upcoming video game where Black Panther and Captain America are the main characters. He looks just like that, so it's a very fitting style. But yeah, his basic free spender, 5 dice mystic, free spender, it's a contradiction. Free attack is 5 dice mystic. His spender is 4 7 dice mystic with finisher on it if you get a hit and a wild. He's still got pounce, which the bog standard version has. Insight of the Ancients for 1 power. When this character rolls dice while interacting with objective tokens, you can use that to reroll a skull, which is really handy for certain crisis cards. I hope that's in focus. Sorry, I just looked and thought it might not be. He has stealth built in. He has agility. Enemy characters cannot modify attack dice when targeting this character with attacks. That's really nice. And he has wall crawler. Really solid 3-threat. Definitely the bane of anyone who's weak to mystic, for sure. And a good way to put it in a list. I don't think Wakanda has that many options for mystic attacks. I don't quite remember. Don't play them that much. On his flip side, well, the art changes obviously. His health stays the same, and I think so does everything else. Yep, solid 3-threat, like a couple of solid characters in general. Definitely a way to add some variety to Wakanda lists. Neymar, you can have him in Shield with that new affiliation or not, but honestly he just seems decent all round to me. And now we come to the big box for Mighty Thor, Lady Sif, Thor, Hero of Midgard, and Loki, Prince of Lies. So, our second version of Loki, our technically third version of Thor, I guess, because his old stat card did get updated to make it worth more the threat value you were paying for. And then, of course, we have the Jane Foster version of Thor as well. And Sif, all in a box together. There's not that much lore about them, to be honest, on the back there. And Loki and Mighty Thor are the two leaders you get in this box. And I was mentioning my friend who already picked these up and assembled them. He said if you are assembling them, do it to the letter. Don't think you can kind of skip ahead and do something because of just the way these two are assembled, especially with the lightning bolts arcing through them. Do it precisely as it's told in the documentation online. Don't skip a step. Don't think, I might as well just do this hand while I'm doing this. Just follow it very precisely, even if it doesn't feel intuitive. Apparently. I haven't done it yet, obviously, so I'm just passing on what I was told. The other thing I'll note, and it might ruin the model for you a little bit, but Thor makes absolutely no sense in the pose he is in the manner in which he's holding the hammer. He's already flying forward, so he wouldn't be holding the hammer by the strap like that. It would be out in front of him. If he was going to swing it down to attack, he'd be holding it by the haft, not by the tassel at the end, which he uses to swing it round in circles. It doesn't make any sense. It feels like a genuine error. There's a lot of other stuff that is just not quite right with the pose, and it's such a shame. I'm actually looking for a third-party replacement to use instead, because it doesn't make any sense. They've revealed a new Black Bolt. The pose that new Black Bolt is in would have suited this guy a lot better. It's such a shame, but it feels like just an oversight, or they've copied a comic panel that also had a mistake in it. It doesn't make much sense. Well, unlike that last box, we do have classic bases in this, which is a bit of a shame, but keep in mind that Neymar Black Panther release is CP158. This is CP91, so although it came out second, it was produced earlier. So this might be a change going forwards, that they are actually having more scenic bases, which is a positive change if so. Don't know yet, obviously. So, we have Thor's on a big base, and I think Loki might be as well, I'm not sure. I don't think Sif and Mighty Thor are, but you get your basic assortment. So, you know. And then we have them all stuck together again, which is good. I'm not complaining about that at all. So this is Thor here, and not much else to say about that. So, oh, actually, does he have two versions? Oh no, sorry. Is this Mighty Thor then? Because the hammer looks different to the official art. Oh, he comes with two hammers. Now, is he having to hold the tassel in each? I'm not sure. Also, it might be Mighty Thor. I genuinely can't tell because they basically are the same. That looks like a man's body to me. That's got to be Thor. So there is an alternative hammer option where it has like a swoosh on it, which makes even less sense unless he's flying like a helicopter, which would be very silly. So that doesn't really make it any better. Oh yeah, there's the hand on the tassel down there. Yeah. So you do have an alternative option, but in both he's still holding the wrong part of the hammer, in my opinion, based on the animation. In fact, you might be able to put both on, so it has like a, you know, like he is actually swinging it round, but he wouldn't be flying forwards if he was swinging it like that. He'd be hovering upwards. All round, just... Sorry, I'm not going to go on about it. It's just very disappointing that nobody caught it. This is Loki. So, of course, yeah, the brothers were together. He seems simple enough to me. A shame that he doesn't have like a fully Asgard-themed base. But what can you do? And then we have the two ladies over here. Oh, there we are. Yep, you can definitely tell because they're very thin compared to the men. So this is Sif. That looks super simple to me as well. Oh, except this little pouch here that will be going on her belt. I presume that's going to be absolute murder, but besides that, seems fine. So this is Mighty Thor, and oh, that's a very strange arc of lightning there. Her lightning looks much cooler. Like her pose is a far better one. So yeah, okay. I don't know if this was the one that caused my friend more problems or not, but just be very careful with how you assemble it, is the warning I was given. So, passing it on. But yeah, her pose is a lot cooler. And it doesn't, like, just not make any sense on a physics level. Not that that matters, I know, but I can't unsee it once I noticed it. So, I've sorted out all the cards, and then look at all this wasted stuff. Just look at it. I know this is the cheapest way to do it, but it's not necessarily the most ethical way to do it. Good grief. Now into the recycling it'll go. Let's start with tactics cards like we did. It's Thor's mom blessing him. Don't know why I made it the American version of the word, but whatever. Asgard reactive. During the power phase, any allied Asgard character may spend 3 to play this card. This character may reroll any number of his defense dice this round. So it is a defensive reactive. Sure, that's fine. Don't know if it'd be worth a space or not. Heart of the Worthy. Cancer-ridden Jane Foster turning into Mighty Thor. It's also an Asgardian reactive. At the end of the activation phase, an allied, the Mighty Thor, may spend 2 to play this card. The Mighty Thor removes her activated token. She then immediately activates. During the next cleanup phase, she is KO'd. That's grim. I mean, it's fitting for how she works with the powers she has, but that's grim. That is surprisingly grim, actually. Okay, fair enough. I don't have anything else to say about that. Giant's Blood for Loki, presumably. Unaffiliated reactive. When an enemy character ends a movement within 2 of Loki, just any Loki, it's just as long as his name is on it, so actually it doesn't necessarily mean this version, it means both. He can spend 2 to play this card. Enemy characters within 2 gain slow and root, and then he drops all objective tokens and is placed within 5. He needs that power in Marvel Rivals. That is a get out of jail free card for Loki. For a limited time only, it's Thor sharing his powers with Gwen and Miss Marvel. Thor's Blessing. This character has 1 die to his attack rolls. Additionally, after his character makes an attack, if it dealt damage, the target gains shock. It's an Asgardian active. Thor, hero of Midgard, so that's the version that comes in this box. You can spend 3 to play this card for the rest of the round. While other allied characters are within 4 of him, he gets they get this power. So that's pretty cool. If you're all like in the middle of the map, he's got power to burn, towards the end of the game. You might as well just give extra dice and shock special to your allies. Yeah, that's a very powerful card. Trickster's Boon. I've forgotten that guy's name. It's Absorbing Man, isn't it? What is it being? What is that he's being given there by Loki? He's going to absorb it, whatever it is. Trickster's Boon. Asgardian active. During an allied non-Asgard character's activation, Loki can spend 4 to play this card. Choose an allied non-Asgard character and an enemy character. The chosen allied character gains 5 power. Wow. Okay. This activation phase, if the chosen allied character is daisies or KOs the chosen enemy, gain 1 victory point after the effect is resolved. If it did not, during the cleanup phase, the player controlling the chosen enemy character gains 1 VP, and then the chosen allied character loses all its power. This is very word salad. Loki gains 1 power for each power lost this way. Okay, so you pick an ally, you pick an enemy. The ally has to be not of Asgardian affiliation. They gain 5 power. If they kill the chosen enemy target, daze or KO, you gain 1 VP. If they fail to do it, the enemy gains 1 VP. The character loses all the power they lost, and Loki gains power. So very in keeping with him, because he still benefits whether they do it or not. Could give up 1 VP, could gain 1 VP. A very chancy card, risky, I guess is the better word, but very, very thematically apt. And we were talking about him, so let's talk about his card first. He is 5 threat, 4/4/5 defense, wow. 7 health, moves long, size 2 of course. All mystic damage, 6 dice, and with Bamboozle for a crit in a wild on his basic mischiefs and magics, which lets him advance characters small, and then gain root. Clever Ploy is an area 3, that's pretty impressive, only 5 dice but for 4 power. After each attack is resolved, if it dealt damage you can advance them small. Allied characters in range don't suffer damage. And this is his affiliation bonus if you want him to be the boss for Asgard. While another allied character is attacking, defending or dodging during the modified dice step, it can pay 1 power. If it does, it can reroll 1 of its dice, and this character, as in Loki, gains 1 power. So he's being selfish, but again, that is Loki to a T, basically. Go forth for 2 power. Pick another allied with character within 4, place them within 2. It's got a teleport. Oh my, what a pity. For 1 power, after an attack targeting this character or an allied character within 3, or after an attack made by this character is resolved, it can use this superpower. If the enemy character's roll contains any skulls, that character suffers 1 damage. So Essentially, it's just pay 1 to hurt 1 as long as he rolled a skull. He's an Asgardian, so he gets 1 additional power. This isn't mischief, this is mayhem. When attacking or defending, this character adds skulls in the enemy character's roll to his successes. Not his own, just the enemy's. But that on its own is very, very potent. On the flip side, his stamina goes down by 1 to 6, but I believe nothing else changes with him. They don't do much changing on the cards anymore besides stamina and the occasional superpower going away, more so than like gaining things. But still a very, very powerful version of Loki compared to the old original version, which still had that big AoE of annoyance. But this is much more tricks based, which is very in character. He looks fun. Don't know about effective, but certainly fun. So Lady Sif is a 4 threat, and I think the reasoning apparently for these like 4 character releases is so that out of the box you can probably get to 14 to 16, maybe 17 threat value, so you have a playable team more or less, which makes sense. So Sif, 4 threat, medium move, 4-3-3 defense, all physical. She's very similar to Valkyrie, but a little bit stronger. 5 dice basic physical attack with pushes on wild and a follow-up on crit and wild. Warrior Forged, 3 power for 7 dice physical within range 3, with Mighty Bash on a crit and a hit. After the attack is resolved, if the target character is size 3 or less, you get to chuck them medium, then advance small. She's got her basic charge on 2, same price. Master Swordswoman, I think, is just the same as the Master Swordsman skill, just obviously renamed to Swordswoman. She is of course Asgardian, and she is battle tested. When this character would suffer damage from any effect, reduced the amount suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1, unless it's Neymar hitting her of course, in which case he gets to ignore that. 6 health, stays at 6 health on her flipped side, and as I was just saying, I don't think anything else has changed. She looks very much like Wonder Woman on this side, but let's not draw attention to that. So we have the very chonky 5 threat Mighty Thor, who is the other affiliation bonus in the box, and you might think she's the strongest one in there, but Thor is 6 threat, so no, we're not even there yet. He is strong. But let's talk about Jane first. So 5 threat, medium move, 8 health, 4-4-4 defense. She's got her basic hammer strike with Mjolnir, 6 dice, and a throw on wilds for target size 4 or less, and it's a short throw. Lightning Blast, which is range 4 for 8 dice, 4 power. It does electric shock on a wild. Before damage is dealt, other characters within 2 suffer 2 damage. That's really powerful. And then whether it does damage or not, you inflict shock with that as well. So her affiliation bonus, Renegade Thor of Asgardia. Once per turn, when an allied character attacks an enemy character within 2 of itself, you can reroll 1 attack die. Additionally, once per turn, when an enemy character targets an allied character with an attack, if the enemy character is not within 2, the allied character can reroll 1 of its defense dice. So when it's attacking within 2, you get to reroll 1 of your dice. If you're being attacked outside of range 2, you get to reroll 1 of your defense dice. Again, they put it in the most word salad way possible, but they have to just make everything quote unquote clear. But yeah, it's a fine affiliation bonus as long as you remember it. For Midgard, 3 power, it's a charge. It's just for Midgard instead of for Asgard. 3 power on Inner Strength is a interactive terrain feature size 4 or less. So no characters, only terrain. But hefty, size 4 or less within 2, throw it medium. She's strong. For 2 power, if she be worthy. When this character is defending against physical or energy during the modified dice step, you can use this superpower to reroll any of your defense dice. Blessed by the All-Mother, it's just her version of Asgardian blood basically, 1 extra power in the power phase. She's immune to shock, obviously, because she's a Thor, and she can fly, obviously, because she's a Thor. On her flip side, she goes down to 6 health, so she actually loses 2 stamina, which is kinda hefty. It's usually a difference of 1 way or t'other, but in this case, no, it's minus 2 stamina. Not quite as bad as when you flip like original MODOK or Hela, but you know, she does lose a bit of her tankiness on her flip side for sure. Everything else, I believe, stays the same. And so, that leaves us with Thor. Thor in his prime, I guess. He's the hero of Midgard, so this is him at the height of his power with the Avengers, I suppose. And, I mean, could they do a version stronger than this? I guess if they do like the Allfather version of him, the old man Thor, when he's got like the destroyer arm and stuff. He kind of looks like that in Marvel Rivals, actually. That's the kind of style. Wait a minute. Oh, you know, I saw that first name and thought, hang on a minute, did I grab the French card by accident? I misread it. It says Odin's son's ire. I completely misread that as French. Good grief. Anyway, so he is a massive, chonky, ridiculous 6 threat. He is a hefty lad, 9 health, medium move. He counts as size 3, not size 2, and is 444 across the board defense-wise. So Odin's ire, his basic free attack is 7 dice range 3. That is ridiculously powerful, although kind of standard for 6 threat, I will say. He gets power based on that. On a wild, he does lightning arc, which is after the attack's resolved, choose a number of enemy characters within 3 equal to the number of wilds you rolled, and they just suffer 1 damage, so it's a big lightning burst. Love it. If he gets a wild and a hit, he gets to push, and just pushes them away small regardless of their size, which is also pretty cool. I would have words with thee is his spender attack, which is just a wonderful, excellent name for an attack. It's physical, not energy. It costs 4 power, which is pretty chonky. It's 10 dice on range 3. Before damage is dealt, he places himself within 1 of the target. After the attack is resolved, if the target is size 4 or less, you throw them medium. That is pretty powerful. And I love that it's called I would have words with thee, because you know what he means by words. For 3 power, he can have at thee. The character throws itself medium, doesn't suffer damage for the collision. And remember, size 3, so that's 4 damage potentially. And he can only use it once per turn. He can also spend 3 on the power of Thor, choosing the interactive terrain feature size 4 or less within 2 and throw it long. So that's slightly better than Jane's version because she was thrown medium. Yeah, same power otherwise though. Terrain up to size 4, so that's potentially 5 damage right there, once per turn. I say thee nay, villain. Also for 3, he needs power so badly. Like, he's got a lot of stuff he wants to do with power. So I say thee nay, villain, for 3. After an attack targeting this character is resolved, it can use this superpower. If the attacker is within 3, roll 7 dice, and the attacker suffers 1 damage for each crit and wild in the result. You're playing the statistics there, but for 3 power, just for the act of being attacked, 7 dice. And there's 1 crit on each d8, and there's 2 wilds, maybe only 1 wild. So that's a 1 in 4 chance of getting one of the results you want on 7 dice. So you're probably going to get, 1.5 damage minimum? Unless you roll like me. But still, that might be worth doing it, but his obvious problem is, look at the costs. His big spender is 4, he's got 3 superpowers, all costing 3. He does get 1 additional power in the power phase, sure, but he needs alternative ways other than taking damage to the face to get power. Tactics cards, anything that would siphon power to him somehow. Or like if you put him with original Steve Rogers, so the first superpower per turn costs 1 less, that would help a little bit. He's got flight and immunity to shock, obviously, because he's a Thor. On his flip side, I think he gets tankier. Does he? No, he goes down by 1. But still, that's 17 health in total. That is a lot. So yeah, his definite downside is he needs so much power. Now granted, if people are trying to murder him, he's going to get power from that. Depending on the crisis cards you're playing, you might be able to get some extra power from those. You might be able to get some extra dice if you're playing hammers, that kind of thing. But I feel like sacrifice like tactic card slots or something. Find a way to just feed this man power and he will absolutely terrorize. If he just gets ignored, he's generating 2 flat per turn. Plus he is generating power on this. He could go after a squishy and get like 4 or 5 power just if he one-shots them. So, it's not impossible for him to garner a lot of power, even if the chosen strat to deal with him is to avoid him. But he spends power real quick. And remember those tactics cards being quite expensive as well. I've forgotten which one it was offhand now. Oh, the one that gives the buff to everyone else around him. How much was that? The range 3, 1 die extra plus shock. Those are not in English. There it is. For a limited time only. That costs 3 power as well. 3 must have been the favourite number of whoever wrote this card. Yeah, so 4 for his spender, 3 superpowers worth 3, and a unique tactics card to him that also costs 3. Yeah, so he's definitely, you've got to be real careful with how you spend your power, try and play the stats. I'm not sure, like, this seems so fun that I say the nay villain, but I guess you can rule out Power of Thor if there isn't enough size 4 terrain around. If you're only throwing like size 1, size 2 terrain, it really is not worth the power cost at all. But being able to chuck yourself into people with he's just hammer throwing into them, that's great. He does that in Marvel Rivals too. Can't wait to try this Thor out. Very interesting. I don't know what would work best with him. I honestly, I think he might do better in Avengers than Asgard. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud. That is it though for what is available in the new Asgardians box. And that is going to do it for a look at what is in CP91 and CP158. I am genuinely curious if they have stated, like, are they doing full scenic bases going forwards now for the newer stuff? I haven't really been paying attention to that. I never noticed until I got these. So I really hope they are, because look at these bases compared to just everyone being on the street corner. And everyone will have enough spare copies of all the old street corner ones to not run out if they do want that, just so everybody looks alike. But yeah, having their very thematic bases just makes the models look even better. So love that. Hope that is the new standard going forward. And yeah, I might put some of these to the top of the list rather than get through some of the older releases I still haven't done. I've almost completely finished doing the Mightiest Heroes core box. In fact, I just need Ultron done, and then that's them all done finally. I've been working through the new Spider Foes, because I love Spider Foes. So I've been getting those done. In fact, they're just sitting out of shot waiting to do a painting update with this camera. So definitely going to prioritize some of these. I'm going to look into the assembly instructions for these very carefully after being warned about it. But a lot of interesting options for Asgard. I think Neymar does good no matter where you fit him in, if you can fit him in, given that he's 5 threat. Black Panther seems fine. That's my just off the cuff upon reading the cards opinions, subject to change once actually trying them out. Hope you found this insightful and enjoyable, though please do remember to show your support if you like the content I produce for the channel, and I shall see you again real soon for some Crisis Protocol, an unboxing, a painting update, or anything else. Until then, ta-ta for now.